Uni Rugby presents Honest Rugby Chat by Cameron Petrie. This is episode 2, and I'm with William.
Good evening.
And I'm with Charlie, who was here last week.
Good evening.
So, obviously there's been a ton of rugby on this weekend, and the Autumn Internationals have been pretty good if you ask me. Sport for choice, I'd even say. It's quite hard actually when there's been this much rugby on, because again I think the Anglo Welsh Cup got abused last weekend, and it was like basically the only rugby on, so it's going to get abused even more now that we've had internationals on. I think as we're all England fans, I think we have to start off with England Argentina. Yes, we are an English biased podcast. We're crying out for Celtic people to come on. We have a few in the group chat, but we're never around on a Sunday evening. Well, whatever. Okay. Anyway, before I go off on the rant, guys, opinions on England Argentina. I guess William go first.
The only really satisfactory overall element was the fact that we won, and it's important to keep hold of that because it's not too long ago that we've had sides that would have played like that and conspired to find ways to lose it, which wouldn't have been undeserved because the scoreline flatters us hugely. The only real positives I could take from it were Underhill just a complete mustard. The tackle rate he'd taken from his form with Bath, especially in the Champions Cup, that performance against the Scarlets coming to mind, was carried over to the international arena. That was really important for him. And he's going to need to do the same, probably more actually, against Australia, because we're going to need him up and ready about every 30 seconds to try and keep Hooper down, because we don't want to have problems. Apart from that, very relieved to see Nathan Hughes have a really big game, because Uni Rugby was becoming one of those... I know you're not meant to talk about must-starters or certainties on team sheets or irreplaceable, but Uni Rugby was getting sort of dangerously close to that point, and we need to have, I think, cover as well. And it's nice to know that he can play to that level too. Bar that, I'd say Lazowski was really impressive coming on late, and Watson did well fullback, but not much else for me.
Yeah, I think you basically covered it there. I think it's very important to see Underhill step up to international stage. And that was only, his second or third cap, wasn't it? Second cap, yeah, because he played once in the summer against Argentina as well, didn't he? And then you've got... It's very important for Hughes to have a big game for me, because I don't know about you guys, I wasn't really fully... overly impressed by him last season, because I think the form he had the year before last season was the form that got him the England call-up. And then I felt last year he was, a bit stagnant and wasn't carrying... It wasn't as dynamic as usually as he has been. Seeing him score that try down the right wing, he sort of catches it in one hand and sort of a little bit of footwork and sort of blasts over. It's nice seeing him in those wide channels again. But yeah, very, very. I don't know. It was quite dismal at times. Argentina had all the ball possession as well, and I really think Juan Martin Hernandez helped them at 10. With just a bit more game management, and while we're down there, I say take points, but there's so much ball. They did exactly.
14 points.
I know.
I think England's defence was fairly impressive in terms of that. I think we saw it in the second test against Australia in 2016. It reminded me of that. They just kept repelling them, and then I think the tries were well taken. When they came about, there were so many missed opportunities, and I just think it was a bit of a disappointment, really, what we were all expecting.
Does it come down to that, though, Charlie?
England are going to score 40, and it was just a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, but does it come down to that again, though, that the English media and fans having too much expectation? I know we're world number 2s, and Argentina are world number 10s currently, or number 9 or something, and they lost every match in the Rugby Championship, which I don't blame them, because the other 3 sides are very good as well. But I think as a nation we do put lots of expectation on our sports teams, and the rugby team is the best team I think we've got at the moment. So there's a lot of pressure on them, especially the World Cup looming in only 2 years. But I think the positive thing is that that's the poorest I've seen England play for a while, and they still won by 11 points against a good side. So, and I think the defence is a positive, but I don't know about William. Did you pick up on it? They were not competing at the breakdown at all. Barely. It was all this tackling, roll away, and we'll just go again. But then it was just, well, you know, if you're not going to compete, they weren't winning any penalties, so we weren't competing at the breakdown. So it was just Argentina were having all the ball, and it's basically turning into a tackle drill or defence drill for England. That's what I found anyway.
I think there are a couple of things that contributed to that. I think the nature and atmosphere of the game did. I don't think you'd see teams do this at the World Cup. I don't think you'd actually see them do it in a competitive points championship, if that makes sense, or with seedings on the line. I think it's also a new tactic. It's not one that hasn't been tried before, but it was interesting. And Argentina had a game plan which actually worked very well. Problem was,
if you look at
managed to turn into points.
Sorry, I was just going to say the new laws of the game are contributing to that as well. So
yeah, that's true.
So we do a lot of defensive work at our club with Will Fraser, and he's sort of brought the Saracens' defensive system and simplified it and talked with us about it. And the system he's come up with is 2 tacklers and only 1 competes for the ball, and even then it's only when it's clear cut. And that's the new laws sort of favouring the attacking team because you want the continuity. So that just means that defensively, what's the point in competing if the ruck's very quick? You're better just to fill the field, fan out and then sort of get up and make your hits. So I think that's probably England's thinking there. But whether or not you can get away with doing that against the better teams, well, I think we'll see next weekend.
Yeah, it was a good point, but I don't know. I feel like for an international side, especially England, like world number 2 side currently, you should be able to adapt to the game situation, and it reminded me a bit of the Italy game in Six Nations this year, where something's obviously not working or going right, but they took them till the second half, the last 20 minutes of the game to actually change it. And with the Argentina game, with this game, yesterday, I don't think they didn't even really change it. To be honest, it wasn't going well. They sort of just carried on and thought we were still winning. And the scoreline could have been even more flattering if Sanchez didn't score that try at the end. So yeah, I don't know. Again, as an England fan, I'm happy we won, but I'm expecting a lot more against Australia, and they're going to need to play with a lot more energy and just a lot more quality to compete with Australia. Because I thought Australia were awesome against Wales. I thought Wales were awesome as well. Did you guys catch that game or not?
I did.
Yeah.
Opinions on it?
I watched the first half, but very impressed with both sides. Both sides. I think Steph Evans' try that was fantastic. That's just this new style of play that Wales are trying to use. So I think it's slightly ironic with the selection because I think you said last week, Cameron, about going for those 2 big guys in midfield, and I said, oh no, I think they'll have a playmaker there. It's interesting. You've almost had a role reversal over the last year. Australia have gone for the 2 big guys running direct lines, and Wales have gone for the playmaker side. So I don't know what you lot think about that.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting because you've got Owen Williams at 12. I think we saw that with the with that try in the corner. The Evans try, especially with how it went through the hands, and maybe if that was Roberts there, I don't think it would have gone out wide as quick. With Owen Williams there, the ball went through the back line a lot smoother and quicker, and you can see that Owen Williams plays 10 because the distribution. And I was impressed with the link play with him and Bigger, considering it was the first game they've started together, especially against a quality side like Australia. And I was impressed with that. And this whole thing about style of play, I don't know. It's just, and we say that they are 2 physical centres for Australia, but I mean Karevi is a decent little. He's got good hands, Karevi as well. Actually, he's not just a up for the jumper, crash ball 12, is he, Karevi? He's got more quality to himself than just that. But it's funny, Australia said they were targeting Wales, weren't they? If they were playing Williams 12, a smaller 12, they're going to run Karevi at him and Kudrani at him. Do you think that worked, guys, or not?
It does, and it works because they essentially have 3 playmakers and 2 hard runners in their line. So they're able actually to put 2 big guys at 12 and 13, and it's not the same as it might have been for, let's say, Wales in the Grand Slam days, because there's 3 playmakers. You've got Beale at fullback, running into the line, who can look for work. and the others can shift outside him. You have Genia and Foley combining to create spaces and pockets of gaps, which means they come onto the ball running. So it's crash ball, but flat and with subtlety, and that changes the whole situation, which you can see, I think, especially by the first half tries. The move repeats again because they make one big incision, usually by releasing the 12 and 13 into space, and you just need to keep the ball in phases to drag enough defenders. And they were very good at that, drawing the defenders close to the line and putting those big flat passes out. And I wonder sort of how other Northern Hemisphere teams will deal with that, because they've looked sharp recently. Just recently they've looked very sharp, and they've blown hot and cold since the World Cup, but they weren't impressive in that regard yesterday.
They were, William, again, I think you've nailed it. They were. Well, it's just how comfortable every player seems to be on the ball. And Genia's playing some great rugby again. He got man of the match, didn't he? Foley is such a great backline runner. He takes it so flat to the line. It must be very hard to defend him, because he takes it so flat. And you got Karevi, Kudrani, and the wingers working off him. And you got second ball players and Beale there out the back. Nah, who saw the Beale try where he just ripped it off? I think it was Steph Evans, wasn't it? And then he just ran through. I don't know about you, but I thought Wales should have reacted far quicker to that.
They sort of just stopped, didn't they?
Yeah.
Really...
It was like, well, he can't score a try like that. Well, yes, he can. He just has. And there's 7 points gone, and they ended up only losing the game by 8. So it's just stuff like that. Wales, I feel like it just be far more switched on, and he ripped it off in fair and square and ran in. I mean, and they were all standing watching it. It's just quite frustrating. Again, as far as a Wales fan, it'd be so frustrating. I mean, that's the 13th loss in a row now. Gatland, I think his record against Southern Hemisphere teams is terrible. I think it has to be brought into topic, because yes, he's done a good job winning Six Nations and stuff, with Wales, and I know he came in and he's made them a lot better than what they were, but they want to get to that next level of being a top, established top 3 side. And he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it. It's simple as that. And I know they're trying stuff out now with like a ball player at 12 and everything, and more expansive rugby. But I don't know about you guys, but I think after the World Cup, I think that's I hate what he said it, hasn't it? I think that's it for Gatland with Wales. But that record is just appalling, though. 13 losses in a row to Australia. I don't know about you. Yeah, I don't know.
Is it possible? First of all, that Gatland's only recently sort of had a coaching epiphany, because up until 2013, we knew what he was about. It was brutally effective. Huge guys who actually had the edge in conditioning over every other Six Nations side by a good bit. Especially through cryotherapy in Poland and things like that. They were able to outlast the opposition through force and fitness. This worked very well against the Lions, against Australia for the Lions. Then afterwards, others have caught up. And I noticed actually that he changed things a bit with the Lions this time around. And he suddenly brought, again, the second playmaker. I think it's where he's taken it from, because I think the idea was suggested to him, if not by Farrell, then definitely by some of the players. And now, actually, he's going to look to try and change 2019. I think also it's about sort of the tools. Wales hit a peak with those Grand Slams, definitely.
Yeah.
But since, I think there's just been other very promising players that have come through in the Six Nations stage domestically and probably internationally, actually.
It's a good point. It's a good point. I mean, I've always sounded very harsh about that. I mean, Six Nations record is something that isn't it?
I agree with you. He hasn't figured out how to play sort of his own hemisphere with Wales, which is odd. Particularly given that he's done it with the Lions, when he's always taken a sizable contingent of his own. might player quality, might be player power. He has been quite stubborn though until I'd say this year he was still playing big crash ball. Is that fair?
It's definitely. I think that's definitely fair. Yeah, he loved his Jamie Roberts at 12. I mean, it literally and Cuthbert on the whip. Cuthbert. I mean, he did drop Cuthbert around 2 years ago because of injuries. Had to put him back in and gave him another chance. And then just from living in Wales, I know for a fact they would blame every defeat, the entire defeat on Cuthbert. And I know he was in a terrible mental place. Because of that, and then it took a national outcry to get Roberts out as well. But they sort of replaced him with Scott Williams for like the Six Nations last year, and again Williams was just basically he had the 12 shirt, and then he's not an out and out ball player, and people were expecting him to do that job. When in fact he's probably he's probably more similar to a crash ball sort of 12 than he is a ball player. So obviously he wasn't actually in the squad for these Autumn Internationals, but he's been called in now because Tyler Morgan pulled out. So it does seem the in-fashion thing now to have a ball player at 12. Even though you look at Australia, South Africa, sorry, not South Africa. You look at Australia and New Zealand, and I don't know. Can you really call Karevi and Sonny Bill ball players? I don't think you can.
That's only for this game. I think if you look at the Australia previously, they've had Tamua, Christian Lealiafano, obviously before his illness, and Beale. They've gone for that, and I think they may be trying something different. But I think if you look at New Zealand, they've got that really good balance. Yeah, he's not an out and out ball player, but he offers something different. So I don't think you have to have that ball playing 12 to play really good rugby. I think you've got to have people who can play the ball, whether that's at 10, 13, 15. If you look at Exeter, they have their ball player of Henry Slade at 13. I think that works really well for them. So you don't have to have a ball playing 12, but you've got to have the ability to move the ball. I think New Zealand have that. With obviously, I don't know. I just think they've got ball players all over the field, so they can get away with having Sonny Bill playing 12.
Of course, he's got a phenomenal offloading game as well, hasn't he, Sonny Bill? So I mean, he, as you said, he offers something different. And I'm being very harsh on Sonny Bill. His actual ball play is pretty good. I mean, he'll always nail a 2-on-1 pass if needed to. And I think Ali has actually been waiting for me to call him. I haven't been checking his messages, so should do that. Ali's coming in now, last week's guest as a finisher, as Eddie Jones would say. So
I like him.
I think he's got. I'm not sure if he's here. Ali.
Hello. Yes. Hi.
Hello. Awesome. Okay, I was just making sure it's actually working because I know what Skype is like. So there we go. We were just discussing ball players at 12 and whether we think that Wales are now starting to play one, and if Australia and New Zealand are drifting away from it with playing guys like Karevi and Sonny Bill, but that argument was sort of smashed out the window by William and Charlie. But what do you think about that?
I'd say it's interesting that Checker is so keen to try and get that Karevi-Kirandrani centre partnership going when they've had such success with the likes of Matt Tamua, Matt Giteau and Beale there. He just seems very keen to have his centres hard-running, offloading, very athletic people. But then, obviously, the best team in the world, New Zealand, haven't used an inside centre fly half since Carter debuted there, really, or Luke McAllister even. But I'd say, really, the best thing you can do is try and develop a 12 that can play fly half and has some athletic ability, like your Beals, and also actually like Alex Lazowski, who showed some serious pace for England, didn't he?
Oh, absolute burners on his feet there. He gassed his opposite man, who was playing Iglesias, and Maroney. He completely burnt through those guys. I saw your tweet as well, Ali, saying that maybe Slade's best position for England would be 13, and he got a bit lost in the traffic at 12 for England. I mean, I think that's a point. Maybe you'd want to go into that.
It is, yeah. It's interesting. So my thought was just watching Slade a bit. He just couldn't really impose himself. I didn't think he was particularly poor. I just didn't think he could really get involved. When you've got so much more going on in the midfield, there's a lot more sort of just muddying his vision, I think. Once you move him out that one more position at 13, the field opens up and he can use those mercurial offloading and passing skills to set up the outside backs. I just think let him operate at 13, and if you're going to have ball playing 12 as well as Slade, you need Lazowski, because the one criticism I have of Farrell at 12 is he hasn't really got much. What's the word? Ball in hand, he doesn't threaten that much as an athletic individual, whereas Lazowski can drop the hammer and just, he can just break the line like he did.
Yeah, that was a fantastic run from Lazowski. I really caught people's attention, that did. I saw quite a lot of tweets going on about that.
It's just whether is 3 ball players, is that too much?
We starting to get. That's the thing. That's what I'm thinking now as well. Is there this obsession with ball players now? And my friend Callum is a huge Wales fan. He was talking about Owen Williams at 12 like a year ago, and he thinks it just be. I think at the end of the day, it's what works best for your team. And I think if Wales think Owen Williams at 12 is the best thing for them as a team, then good for them. But I hope they're not just going for this ball playing, a ball player at 12 just because that's what everyone else is doing. And I say everyone else, it's just basically England.
Well, it's interesting. Just sorry to cut you off. Just because Gatland, I almost kind of applauded him when he selected all those ball playing 12, saying, "Oh, well done for taking the step." Then I realised actually the reason it's taken so long to actually just look at this for Wales is his stubbornness to, not to look at it. I think he was quite naive not to look, not even just to try it before now. And I think he basically just saw how effective Farrell's at 12 and went, "Oh crap, okay, maybe I need to give this a look in Wales as well."
Yeah, well, it's funny. William made that point earlier about Gatland's stubbornness to look at new selection ideas. I think that's a great point. It's no ripping into Gatland, but he did play Roberts, which for an eternity at 12, it seemed like anyway.
Definitely. I am actually, despite a lot of my criticisms of Gatland, I'm a big Gatland fan. I do rate him, but I just think he has a lot of flaws. I think he's a great coach in many aspects, better than most, but also he has more flaws than most high-level coaches.
Yeah, I would also talking about I think Wales have got some great players, and his Southern Hemisphere record is so poor. For a coach of his quality, and with I think the players Wales have got as well, you'd think they'd have a few more scalps than they've actually had. The last win against the Southern Hemisphere team I think was South Africa, against one of the big 3 was South Africa. In 2014? I think it's a horrendous game that was as well. It's 12-6. Yeah. 12-6. The final score was. It was one of the worst games I've ever watched.
Was that the game that De Villiers completely destroyed his knee as well?
I think so. That is the sort of game it was. That was the most
memories.
Yeah. And De Villiers stretched it off. Bismarck du Plessis was just fighting everyone. And it was just, it was an absolute mess of a game. I think that's his only win against a big 3 team.
It was, yeah.
You know what I mean. And he's been coach since 2008. I think he got a draw in 2008 in one of the first games against Australia. Since then, they've lost 13 in a row to Australia, lost every game apart from 1 to South Africa, and lost every game to New Zealand. I'd be very, very frustrated by that if I was a Wales fan. I mean, they've had good Six Nations success, yes, but I don't know. You want to be looking forward and beyond that, because you've got to beat those guys to win World Cups, which is the trophies you want to win, along with Grand Slams, isn't it?
I get the impression that Wales only really get themselves up for the England games, for the Ireland games, sort of the derby games, so to speak.
Well, Six Nations, the Six Nations. Yeah, Charlie, I think it's a good point, mate. It does seem that they always... But I think Wales played well against Australia. I don't want to be nasty to them. I think they played really well. I just felt Australia played some great stuff. You look at that backline as well. I mean, there's serious... You got ball players, you got the real athletes there. So Marika Corabetti is an absolute beast of a man. And he was just charging around like someone possessed on that wing. And the pack were really good as well. I thought the locks are very underrated. I think Simmons and Adam Coleman for Australia, they do a lot of good graft work. Coleman scored, didn't he? Took a hard line off Genya. You got to try as well. And Michael Hooper's awesome as well. I don't know. don't know. If I was a Welsh fan, I'd be very frustrated with the progress that they've made under Gatland. Anyway, moving on to Ireland, South Africa. Thoughts, guys? Anyone want to rip and eat into that?
I think we all saw it coming, didn't we? I think I said, or someone said that Schmidt is so much more tactically acute than Alistair Coetzee, and I think that just shows.
Coetzee.
And the selection was a weird one because they picked a back three that's probably not the greatest under the high ball. And if you look at how Ireland play and how they beat teams,
I know
they go for the bomb, they put pressure on them, and I think
they do
something like that you've got to think about as a coach. And it just surprised me that he went for that selection. And I don't know. I think it's a sad time for South African rugby because yes, they can push the All Blacks close, but ultimately they get destroyed by the All Blacks. Ultimately, Ireland put nearly 40 points on them. There's not much consistency there.
No, and
I was discussing on Twitter at this point with Francois de Toit, the coach of the Stellenbosch Academy, and he was asking, is Alistair Coetzee, is he the issue or not? And I think, like you said, I think other coaches could get so much more out of this team. Schmidt, Jones, Checker. I think any of the top, even Dylan Cotter. I think they could really turn this exact side into reasonably top three. I just don't think the tactics are there. Why are you constantly kicking back to Ireland? Just, here you go, have the ball, run at us. Here you go, have the ball, run at us.
Oh, I know. Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. With the back three as well, I mean, Dylan Lades is not a huge guy. Coetzee has never been solid under a high ball, and Skosan isn't exactly a massive guy either, who is confident under the high ball. And I mean, Murray and Sexton must have been laughing their heads off when they saw the team sheet because they just bomb after bomb after bomb, and then you had Conway and Stockdale chasing them down like madmen, and it was just it. The worst thing is, the worst thing is the first 15 minutes. I think it was like 9-0 or something. I was like, oh, they're still in this game. It's probably a 6-point game at this point. But Ireland just they figured South Africa out, and we just kept doing these bombs and aerial kicking and just a complete bombardment. And South Africa just couldn't deal with it. Completely capitulated, and then the Conway try was the first try, wasn't it? It just got everything rolling. And Ireland's confidence, the tails went up, and then it was just game over from there.
I'll be honest. Joe Schmidt is the reason for that. I think the highlight. It was a particularly boring game. I think it was 2015 potentially. 2014 it would have been, or 13. Anyway, there was a year Ireland. I think it was the year Ireland won their first championship with Schmidt, and they were playing Wales. And every time Ireland got the ball, they kicked it to the right hand corner. And every time it would one bouncing out, and it'd be Wales' line out, they'd put the pressure on. And then once Wales went over and Ireland scored, and Schmidt, I think, has got one of the best rugby minds out there. And I think he'll have identified that, and he'll have, Sexton and Murray are obviously great kickers of the ball. It's Schmidt going, do you know what, we're going to put pressure in these areas. These are the weaknesses. I think he's really key, and I think he is one of the best coaches in the world.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. He's definitely one of the best in the world. My only criticism is, apart from that rigid structure, when it comes to open attacking rugby, if you don't have individuals with that skill, I worry that if he not even worry. I just think my only criticism of him could be, is his game plan attacking enough when it needs to be?
Look at how they beat the All Blacks in Chicago. I mean, defensively it was very loose, but they scored, I think it was 40 points. I think when it comes down to it, they can. But it's just how they beat teams. So they beat England by just out-muscling us. And
the England game was... I mean, Dublin's never an easy place to go to. And England hadn't been playing very well, and they went into that. Ireland were very physical. Probably did, they won the game line battle. And also Murray and Sexton's kicking again. If Murray and Sexton's kicking game is on point for that game, you're in trouble because they just pin you down. It's so hard to get out of it. And they just have a stranglehold over you, and like as you saw, South Africa just completely capitulated under it.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though you look at it, 1 to 15, and the team's not that much different quality, but South Africa, Ireland knew South Africa's weaknesses, or I should say Schmidt did, and they just focused on them. And the team executed it really, really well, didn't they?
It came back to your original point. Would a different coach make a difference to the Springboks? Absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt after that performance and a few of the others that you can say Alistair Coates the guy that's going to lead you to a World Cup in 2 years' time.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know when do you change your coach though? Do you give him until the next World Cup and then look to challenge after that, or do you go actually no, we're making a change now? We're going to be competitive at 2019. But then who replaces him? So
here's the thing. So obviously Rassie Erasmus is coming in, and as I understand, he's coming in above Coetzee, isn't he?
Wait, are you sure about that?
He's coming in as director of rugby. I don't know how much say he has in the national squad though.
I have a feeling Coetzee is kind of in the point where if they wanted to get rid of him, I don't think they'd be able to very easily. So I think Erasmus has come in above Coetzee, and I basically think that's kind of like Erasmus is probably going to be the strongest voice in this. And I think that's almost the closest they're going to be able to get to replacing him, is just bringing someone in above.
That's hilarious.
Coetzee as kind of the face and going, oh yeah, he's the head coach. But I feel like Erasmus is going to have more of a hand in it, and I'm expecting, actually not actually expecting because I'm not sure, I'm hoping that is going to have a reasonable improvement on the Springboks, because I think Erasmus will get a lot more out of them than Coetzee.
I think one thing that frustrates, it's a little bit of a touchy topic, so I'm going to have to be really careful with how I explain it.
I know exactly what you're going to say, and don't worry, it's fine. It's fine. We talked about it before. So.
Yeah, well, it just frustrates me. I understand South Africa's obviously, the political background in South Africa is obviously very different to that over here, and I get that there is a huge issue in that country that isn't as much of an issue over here. And obviously the government have gone to do this, let's bring in the quota system. But I think if you look, obviously I completely respect that and I understand their reasoning behind it. But what's frustrating, if you look at what, which World Cup was it? Was it 1990? Which one did they host?
95.
95, I was going to say 93. Yeah. 1995 World Cup, that team wasn't quoted, they brought the whole nation together. And I think sport's really good at doing that in general. And I think if you've got a team that wins, that's going to bring everyone closer together.
Yeah.
And I obviously get, the whole racism thing you want to, but I think you pick the best players in the best positions is my honest opinion on it.
Yeah,
obviously I'm from an outsider, and I get that there are other issues, but I think it's frustrating that you can't see the best players in the best positions. Who's to say that they are, that people of a certain race are going to get in the team ahead of other people? But it would be nice to know if I was a young black player, knowing that I'm in that place because I deserve it, not because of the colour of my skin. I think it's I don't really know how to explain it, because it's obviously a very delicate issue. No,
I agree with you, Charlie. It's a good point, and I think it needs to be addressed. I mean, let's keep it on like a rugby discussion, but like I completely agree with you. Because like last time me and Ali tried discussing this, it went into politics somehow, and I was like, I was like, this is a rugby podcast. What the heck's happening? I was like,
True. What was that, William? Sorry, go on.
I don't think I helped with that. So a rugby point to make. I know. A rugby point to make, but it feels like Coetzee made a big mistake with the selection of his backline, because he picked a lot of runners against kickers in what was a very Irish weather situation.
Yeah, he tries to play a kicking game plan, didn't he? So
he did, but he didn't necessarily pick sort of the best backline for it. And
I don't think they had many other options, to be honest.
I think there are quite a few injuries actually, which so that's where it's due. But first of all, I weren't helped by the sort of abject performance, or the big chasm between Ross Cronje and Conor Murray. Because this is Conor Murray's bread and butter. He's done this every Friday since as long as you can remember.
So true.
It was very alien to Cronje. He was having a difficult time getting Elton Yantis away quickly. And South Africa really are a bruising running side outside of those two, and they were just swamped. Bundy Aki was brilliant. any time there was a sort of half break, a half hope that they could get Courtney Scosan or something running, or Adrian Kurtzley running from 15, he was smashed. And that's the thing about Ireland. Why they don't spread the ball out a whole lot is because they don't need to, because they suffocate 90% of teams. Even when New Zealand last came and they won there, I think it was a couple of years ago. Last time they lost at home, I think, they actually found it very difficult that night. It was a couple of Bowes and Barrett incisions that led to the tries, and that's the thing about them. They have such a choking tackle, such a choking territory game plan, and they make line breaking so difficult that every single game becomes ruck after ruck after ruck against these man mountains who are incredibly disciplined and also incredibly intelligent as well. And just South Africa just couldn't handle it. A previous side might have been able to. This isn't sort of a South Africa of recent years. They're all quite experienced, and players like inexperienced players like Sika Lisi as well. Losing Kunyu's Hazen was a bad blow. Because the scrum got mullered. And it was just typical Schmidt. Really, I honestly think it'd been really interesting to see New Zealand, the Lions of New Zealand with Schmidt. I reckon they might just have done it. That's the devil's advocate.
Yeah, I'm very scared to add on to that point, because we mentioned Lions last episode and we lost a good 35 minutes and Ali's quiz went out the window.
The quiz.
Wait, should we do this? Wait, I just got to say, William made some fantastic points there, and if I do add to them, I'm basically going to be repeating myself. But yeah, a South African team in the past might have put up a better fight, but I think, as we've discussed, this is not any South African team of the past. I don't know what South African team in the past would have lost 38-3 to Ireland, and then a couple of games before that lose 57-0 to New Zealand.
Anytime pre-2015, you can't really see the Springbok side losing like that, can you?
Exactly. I really feel sorry for the passionate fans of South African rugby, because they do love it to death, and their international team isn't what they deserve currently.
No, it's not at all.
But saying that, Ireland are absolutely awesome at the moment, and Schmidt's done a great job and is continuing to do a great job. So, I mean, that's that as well. Anyway, Ali, should we go on to your quiz before we discuss Scotland-Samoa, which was a fantastic game as well?
It was. Right, okay, so I've devised a quiz. As we are associated with, is it UniRugby.com, Cameron?
UniRugby.co.uk.
That's the one. So I've made a quiz that is sort of based around Uni Rugby. So this is a game of Who Am I? I'm going to say a few lines. Every single one's going to start with where this person studied university-wise. And then as I go on, there's other details as well. So there's teams they played for, how many caps they got, where they were born. And then the first person to guess right gets the score. And I'm going to keep the score.
Can we just call the name out when we get it?
Yeah, I want to hear, say your name first so I can see who gets it first. So I want to hear Cameron, Charlie, William, and I'll say who gets it first.
Here we go.
I think Cameron's going to win this. He said he's got quite a good knowledge of university rugby, so no pressure. But...
Yeah, I'm a bit worried that he might just completely Rain Man this.
I am a bit weird like that. I do like knowing what players have gone to university and where. So, you know. But no, I put
these players all around the world, or are they just home nations, or are they?
To make it easy, I've made it England players only.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start.
Not that we're English bias, but.
No, not at all.
We're never English bias. Who's ever said that? Everyone.
At all. Right. So here we go. So there's 5 questions, and I have a tiebreaker at the end if we need it. Okay. So starting off, where my heart is, University of West England, Bristol.
Go on.
Where my heart is, where I studied. So I graduated from the University of West of England, Bristol. I toured with the Lions in 1997 to South Africa.
Oh.
I was born in Nairobi.
Oh, Simon Shaw.
Yep, there you go.
Cameron.
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 So, point to Cameron.
Known that. You see, same uni.
What? UNT, UE?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. When did you graduate?
Literally this summer.
Oh, right. That's cool. We'll chat about that more off pod.
Yes.
Cool. Right. So, question 2. I graduated from Durham University in 1994.
Cameron Will Greenwood.
Oh, god damn. Yeah. This is ridiculous. I think this is going to be a pace thing.
I'm sad. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So, question 3. You know what, Cameron? You're banned from guessing from the university bit. You can't guess until after I've said the third line.
Okay.
Just to make this fair.
I'll just punch my mic anyway. Damn it. Okay. By accident.
So, William, Charlie, I'm doing you a favour here. Right.
I'll probably still get them, but
Yeah, you probably will. We'll find out. So, I have a degree in business management from De Montfort University.
Oh.
I have a charity made in my name.
Matt Hampstead.
Nope.
Charlie. No. Oh.
That's not it. These are all.
Charity in my name. Game changer.
I've played 71 times for England.
Oh.
Oh.
Demont.
Anyone guessing?
Demont business. Oh, who is that? Who is that?
So, I played fullback for school, but I finally settled in the back row.
Lewis Moody.
Yeah, there we go, Cameron.
I was about to say that as well.
Get in.
I was thinking it.
Get in.
Boys, William, Charlie, it's 3-0.
3-0 to the Peach.
There's two questions, so pretty much Cameron has already won, but this is kind of for your pride, guys.
Oh, God.
Okay. So, I graduated from Loughborough University, but was turned down by Durham University.
Ouch.
I coached England for 7 years.
Martin, no. I heard I coached England and then just went,
So, Cameron, you can guess after this next one.
I'm crying.
So, I played for England 21 times.
Oh.
I started my playing career at Harlequins in 1974.
Oh, wow.
And ended it at Manly in 1990.
Oh, my gosh. Oh.
Ooh.
No, it's not. It can't be Will Carling. It's not Will. It's not. He played for England.
No, it's not.
He played for England
It's
a lot
not.
more. He played for England a lot more than that, and he's not that old either.
Is it 7 years he coached me? Oh, I think it's the coach before Sir Clive Woodward, wasn't it?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, Jack Rodwell, was it? No.
He's England Sevens player, isn't he?
No.
You just guessed it, Charlie.
Wait.
Is that it?
You just said Clive Woodward.
Oh, was it Sir Clive?
It's a Clyde. Oh.
I'd say that.
Oh.
That was a little bit of a curveball because that's a lot earlier than most of the others.
Oh wow. I just didn't think. I didn't think of Sir Clive. I just thought it'd be someone more
Where
like.
Did you say he started and finished playing? Oh, because he played for Leicester at some point. I'm fairly certain.
I've got, from what I could find on the good old reliable Wikipedia, he started at Harlequins and then ended at Manly in 1990. Started in 74.
Oh, Manly. That is some groundbreaking old rugger place. That is.
If any of this is incorrect, I blame Wikipedia. Okay. I absolve myself of any wrongdoing here.
Wikipedia is reliable.
Very, very reliable. Okay, right. So last question, William. You got to get on the scoreboard, buddy. It's 3-1-0.
I'm trying.
Right, come on. You can do this. So, I graduated from Royal Holloway, University of London.
Not going to get it in uni. Okay.
Sorry?
I'm not going to get it just in uni.
Okay. So I can play prop, lock, and number 8.
And Charlie.
Andrew Sheridan.
Oh, yeah, Charlie.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay, right. So I really want William to get at least 1 point here. So William, this is just for you.
You're not extending this, Nick. That makes it worse.
So this is the only current player on the list. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So, did Josh Beaumont go to A, University of Manchester, B, Durham University, or C, University of Dublin?
Can I answer this or not? Or is it?
No, it's just for William.
Oh, jeez. I get the feeling I'm going to think it's going to be the obvious one, but it's not. So I'll go for Durham because it was too obvious if it's going to be Manchester. But no, Durham. Durham is my guess.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer for Josh Bowen. He went to Durham.
Yes, he did. He went to Durham.
God.
Well done. So, 3, 2, 1. Cameron, Charlie, William. Well done, Cameron. You've got that. I'm going to have to make that a lot harder next time for you.
I'm not joking. I knew the Wait. You know the one Charlie got right? What, like before William's question? What was that? Was that Sheridan or not?
Yeah.
It was. Okay. Yeah, I was selfish. I stole those ones. I didn't know that I was excluded after I'd won it.
No, it was literally just the last one. I was giving a little bit. It was kind of.
I knew the last one as well. I knew Beaumont went to Durham because my friend went to Durham, and there's like, and there's loads of pictures of Beaumont in there, so I knew that as well.
Well, yeah, there you go. So
Ali, awesome work.
Quiz goes to Cameron.
There we go. Yes, well done, me. I'm self-obsessed.
We'll keep a track of that score, and I'm going to try and come up with another quiz for next week. If any listeners feel like throwing me a few questions they'd like to get involved, please feel free. Yes, Ali, say your Twitter handle so they can follow you, and he might follow you back. I don't know. Is Ali's choice? It depends. I'll have a look at your profile. I'll make sure you're not going to send me any hate mail. So you can find me at Last Word on Sport, so LWOS_Alistair. So at LWOS_Alistair.
There we go. And what we'll do, guys, actually, when we upload this to iTunes and YouTube, we'll in the bio for them, I'll put all your Twitter handles or whatever you want in there. We'll just message me all of them, and we'll put them. I think
I'll change mine to something a bit easier because that's a bit of a mouthful and it's not very.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. People, if people want to discuss rugby, they can deal with that.
Yeah, I'm always happy for people to come and chat to me about rugby. I am a nose, as you have probably already realised.
Yeah, and if you know as much as us guys, you can come on this podcast as well. Maybe if aspirations. Anyway,
I'm just going to change it now. So you can tweet me at Ali Stokes Rugby if you want to get involved with some quiz questions. Let me know, or just want to chat. So at Ali Stokes Rugby.
There we go. Tweet him now. We need questions because the quizzes are too easy for me. They're too easy.
Yes, I need help, listeners.
I
need your collective help here.
Don't do it on universities. I'm weird. Did anyone see Scotland Samoa? Because I did, and come on, they need a defence coach. Oh, what a game!
Just very quickly, Ali, do you have our predictions of last weekend that we made?
Oh,
I do. I do, and actually, yes. Well, remember because made in the week. A certain game was predicted right by yours truly. I would be for the rest of this pod known as Captain Rugby McRugbyface. Oh God! And that was Italy versus Fiji. Cameron and Charlie both said, "No, Fiji, Italians aren't up to much." And I said, "No, I think Connor he's got this. He can do this." So for the rest of this pod, I will not answer unless you call me Captain Rugby McRugbyface.
It's so long as well. I'm probably going to forget it. Captain. Captain. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Captain.
The full respect that his prediction and his name deserves, and I was delighted to see Italy beat Fiji. So here, I, Captain McRugbyface.
That is beautiful. I like that. Actually, you know what? That should have been my Twitter handle.
There we go. Well, yeah. Again, if you're saying you want to shorten it down, I don't think that's going to help.
Yeah, maybe not.
To be fair, they do now let you have long usernames. They haven't let you have usernames like up to 50 characters. So you can actually probably change your Twitter username literally to Captain McRugbyface or Rugby McRugbyface.
Oh gosh! If I hear McRugbyface one more time, I'm gonna... Oh gosh!
You'll have enough time as well for the emoji.
I know.
Oh, God,
right, Scotland Samoa anyway.
Yes.
Yep.
What's everyone think? I thought it was. I just thought Samoa, like they've had all these issues during the week. Will the game go ahead? Will it not? You know, they're going to get paid, and they just went out there and they played a fantastic game of rugby. I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are, but I was really impressed with them.
Yeah, I was very impressed. Tim Nano Williams is a very interesting call at 10 because I mean by trade he's a fullback, isn't he? But I know he's played 10 a bit. Like not growing up, but throughout his career he has. I thought he played really well. He scored a nice try actually taking it really flat. I think Trevor Irons scored quite a good try as well coming off the bench. And I've always rated him. You look at their squad though; it's actually Paul Perez as well. I really rate him. He's a tough man to tackle. He is. I saw Lee Jones and Hugh Jones trying to grab him a few times. He just wriggles. He wriggles alright. He's not even like that muscular, but he's quite tall and thin, and they really struggle to bring him down. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of points in that game, isn't it? So I mean, I think Scotland eased off near the end of the second half. I think they eased off in the second half a tad because they went in 25-10 up. But I thought both. It was very interesting with Daryl Marfo, who is very English, playing loose head for Scotland as well. I mean, that's a discussion itself, the selection policies. But as you said, Charlie, with everything that's been going on, Samoa did fantastic. But the head coach said that what's going on financially, the bankruptcy will not affect the way we play, and that was true off that performance. Also, I don't know why they don't start Liua. I'm a big fan of him. I really, really like him. They could put him on the wing or 13. I don't get why they don't start him. And I can't believe David Lemmy's still going. I remember watching him against Harlequins in 2005 for I think it was Bristol at the time. Or maybe I'm going a bit too far back. Maybe I think it's 08, 09.
Well, he's 33, 30. How old is he now?
I think he must be 30. He's 35.
And he's quick still as well, isn't he? He's still a hell of a player.
He has still got gas. I thought Hogg was linking up really well with Tommy Seymour that first try. But you look at that. I mean, the back three is very good there with Seymour, Hogg, and I think Lee Jones started on the weekend. But and the centre part, I think Scotland they're going in the right direction. I thought it was very harsh the way they actually dropped, Cotter after Six Nations last year. I thought that was extremely harsh.
But so I think he was doing a brilliant job taking them in the right direction, and they kind of thought they either could have Townsend now, or they would have to wait while he saw out a contract, probably with a French club side. So they were kind of caught in the middle of, right, do we cut Vern Cotter out and get a Scottish coach in, or do we lose out on a Townsend for quite a few years? It's true, yeah, and obviously they're looming over that big contract there. So yeah, that is a good point. I mean, either way, though, they're two very good coaches. I don't think they've lost out massively either way. But it's just harsh on Cotter because he did such a good job developing them. And didn't they come third last year in Six Nations? I think they did, didn't they? Yeah, great wins over Wales and Ireland. So
I would personally quite like to have seen maybe them work together and just to see out Cotter's contract. Maybe bring him in, Gregor Townsend as an attack coach, or just something a bit different, because I feel he's really good at club level and he's been thrown into this international environment. And is he good enough? We hope so, but I guess no one 100% knows.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely find out. I mean, I don't think Samoa is enough of a test to tell yet. If anything, I can tell that defence was a bit loose, conceding 5 tries to Samoa. But again, I think the way the game was played was a very open game. But 25-10 up, and the game only finished 25-10 up half time. The game only finished with a 6-point difference. And I know it was a huge consolation try at the end by, I think it was Puala Fasalilia. I can't really say his name. I'm not sure. The flanker scored right at the end. with a huge. No, yeah, it was him. But I mean, that was a nothing try. So again, the scoreline's a bit flattering to Samoa, but I don't know. It was a very entertaining game, but I don't think these games against like Samoa, Fiji, Tonga, I don't think you can really read too much into them for the home nations. But it's good that Samoa gave them the game, because I know when England played them with recent, it's been not a great game, and it's just been a very convincing win for England. I don't think England have learned a lot from it, and I don't think Samoa have either. So, I mean, it was definitely a worthy fixture, which is nice to see. Did anyone catch France, New Zealand?
I did, and I also watched Scotland, Samoa. Just very quickly, don't want to go back too quick, because you've made some very good points on the Scotland game, but first of all, Samoa fantastic. I do have to give them great credit, because God knows what must have been going through the squad this week, and they've been by far the most professional part of their organisation. That includes all the franchises, especially the likes of the RFU, or World Rugby mainly. And second of all, I'd say is I can't be more excited for a game than Scotland against the All Blacks this coming week. I just want it now. Because they are not ditching their open style, clearly, and they'll need to tighten up a lot in defence. So that would be just my reflection. But they were very good going forward. But if they can't find some way to be cohesive, they will get taken apart. Team that comes up tomorrow field.
Yeah, again, just great points there, William. Just to expand on them, as you said there, if they're defensively like that against the All Blacks, I can just see Buden Barrett running at a tired Daryl Marfo, and that will not end well for Scotland. But it's going to be. I think no matter what happens, I think it's going to be a very entertaining game, and I think that's what you want, especially for us. I'm pretty sure it's going to be neutral for all of us, that game. And I enjoy games that don't include England, so I can just enjoy them instead of have anxiety and sort of like, come on, are we actually going to win this, or are we going to lose to Argentina?
Seconded.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really. I don't know. I enjoy watching England after it's finished. That's the way I watch England. It's always a bit uncomfortable. It's probably the way to put it. So,
I turn into an absolute child when it comes to England games. I become excited. And there's no other game, even the Lions, no club game that gets me anywhere excited. It doesn't matter who England are playing. I turn into a kid in a sweet shop. I love it. Live for it.
Wake up the day England. Sorry.
No, there you go.
I wake up the day England play, and I just think, how long till kickoff? I love the 2016 tour, because you get up at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and 1 hour of the coverage starts, and then you got an hour to 2 hours till kickoff. It was amazing. I think all rugby should be played in the morning.
Yeah. Get up at 4 a.m.
Why on earth are there there's no games on Sunday? They're all crammed to Saturday.
Yes to this. It baffles me.
Oh.
Well, I mean, there's probably a very boring and sensible answer. That's to do with turnarounds and things. But
no.
You can make it fair for everybody. Just pair teams off with the turnarounds. I completely agree. It happens I know it's obviously a level below, but not that far. But it happens in the European Champions Cup. You've got Friday to Sunday turnarounds. I think you could do a Saturday to Sunday. It happens in the Six Nations a couple of times. I know that you'll get Friday to Sunday.
I have a feeling. Sorry to interrupt me. I have a feeling it's probably. I feel like it's probably more likely the fact that the home teams want the Saturday so that they can get more money, because they're likely to get a higher attendance on a Saturday game, perhaps. I feel like that's probably the main driving force here, the financial side.
Yeah, although one thing I would say is everybody uses the Saturday argument a lot as sort of we have to retain this high attendance, this high turnout, the high spend. You look at the evidence. Actually, I am not so sure the evidence bears it out. you get plenty big attendances for, especially rugby games in general, below test level on Sunday. You get plenty big attendances for sport in general on Sunday. I'd fail to see how you'd struggle for TV ratings, for instance.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, you're far less likely to get, thousands and thousands of grown men getting quite drunk on very expensive Twickenham beer on a Sunday evening, as opposed to a Saturday where they don't have to worry about the next day. They just go out and they take out a mortgage to have 2 pints at the rugby.
Yeah, there's arguments either way. Obviously, the TV wise, I think it makes definitely more sense splitting them. Because obviously, why on earth are we living in a world where we have? I'm with William on this because we have Wales, Australia clashing with Ireland, South Africa. I mean, there's two great fixtures of rugby, and I do not want to try and watch them at the same time because I can't do that. Doesn't work, and I want to watch them at separate times. And think, there we go, I've got two great games to watch back to back. But no, they're on at the same time. I have to watch as Eddie Jones described, the grindathon in England, Argentina. And then I have two great fixtures on at the same time, and I have France, New Zealand, which is a foregone conclusion. At 7:45. So, yeah, you think just take one of the Wales Australia games, South Africa games, and just chuck it to Sunday. Go on. Why not? Why not?
Or at the very least, stagger them across Saturday. People are not going to not go to a game that, say, kicks off at even 8 or 9. Or actually, you could have done it earlier. People don't drink less for the early games. Football proves this. Again, European club rugby proves this. The Six Nations last day, they stagger 3 games all on the same day.
Yeah.
I think you start at something like 12. There's no drop in. I'd be very surprised if there was a drop in sales.
No, if anything, I swear the Six Nations, they call them Super Saturdays, don't they? I swear they're thriving, if anything. Because everyone knows, right, fantastic, get all the beers in, go out here, loads of social occasions. And 3 back-to-back games, that's perfect for a bunch of guys or girls that want to watch rugby for a day and have a few drinks with each other, or whatever. So I don't know. I know BBC have the rights to the Wales and the Scotland game, don't they? And Scotland's games, yeah, Wales and Scotland's games, and Ireland and England were with Sky. So maybe if they all came under one, that it'd make it, there'd be a bit more, I guess, rationale and thinking it in a rugby fan's mind. But BBC are like, well, we don't care. We want to get it done on the Saturday, so we're going to put it this time. And Sky are exactly the same. And it's like, well, you choose which game you're going to watch. We're 2 different broadcasting companies. We don't care that you want to watch both of them back to back. So I'd
much rather watch BBC's coverage as well. I'd much rather hear Brian Moore and Jonathan Davies have a go at each other like an old married couple than listen to Stuart Barnes get things wrong.
Oh, gee.
It's a hard one, actually. It's a hard one.
Stuart Barnes thing that I would stop your recording and save this file and then make a new file, because you could always stick the 2 together, because it could be hours.
We had a long chat last week, didn't we, about it?
I won't go into it any further. I was going to make a few points on it, but I'll leave it there for fear of being banned from the podcast.
Well, no, hey, I've got no problem with it, but we're already on an hour. I think an hour 12. We'll probably be a bit under that for recording time. And if we start going to Stuart Barnes, I've got no problem with the guy. I know you guys do, and I know for a fact it will go on, and I'll be the guy trying to delegate and just sort of, ease, and I don't know, William seems very passionate about his views on him as well.
It's not, I'm not even that passionate about him. I just know that the man seems to
anger people.
Touchlight for rugby fans.
Twitter is unbelievable. Twitter is filled with people hating Stuart Barnes. It's quite impressive from him to actually create a sort of reaction. I thought people don't like Brian Moore that much.
I love Brian Moore. I think he's brilliant.
I really like Brian.
That's hilarious.
So do I.
Have you seen the Six Nations bingo?
Yeah.
Or is it the Six Nations drinking game? It's wide, and then when Jonathan Davis calls numbers, I think it's another one.
It's on. Yeah, it's on.
I also love that video. Do you remember the video of back when Toby Flood was starting for England?
Oh no!
And when they kick it away and mess it up, and there's just Brian Moore just going.
Shall I get that up now? I mean, that is.
Please do.
I'm gonna get it up now.
It is one of my favourite things. While you're getting that, Charlie, I could watch that on loop endlessly. You just get so.
I love how emotional.
It's amazing.
I like it though because it shows you kid. But the only thing is, then it's sort of going into like. I don't know. It came across more for me as a rugby fans being disappointed. Well, okay, my YouTube seems to be completely spamming out. So if someone else wants to get up, they can.
You keep talking, and I'll find it.
Yeah, because I does not like that. So I'm just going to close that tab and not go back to that. Because I was thinking the way it was sort of spazzing out. Then I was expecting the whole laptop to shut down, and I was like, well, that wouldn't be good.
I've got it here. So it's 22-second clip. It was 9 years ago this happened. It's got 1.4 million views.
Oh, fantastic! It's fantastic. William, have you heard this? Wait, hello.
Has everyone heard this before?
Charlie, William, have you heard this?
Not sure.
I think I have, but I'd love to hear it again. So
right, I'm going to play it now. Have a listen. This is amazing. So it's Toby Flood as a fly half. He's getting annoyed at.
Oh.
England in possession. Haven't had much of the ball. Toby Flood.
I just. Oh, short.
Yeah, I'm nearly done.
I love the way Eddie Butler is like struggling to like keep himself sounding normal. He's just like losing control of his voice.
Like I said, you put Brian Moore in the middle of him, in the two of them, and it's brilliant listening to the back and forth.
It's very funny. It's very England Wales with those two and Brian Moore is very funny. Actually, I've got to say. Anyway, let's move forward as you have to. I know we've got France, New Zealand on Tuesday. I don't know what the heck's going on there. I've been doing more research into that game. I think it's two development teams, but New Zealand are saying it's not a development team, and my head is just
a development team. I've got the New Zealand team. Let me just reopen it. I've got the New Zealand team here. If you guys want me to read it out.
Yeah, go for it. It's been so bizarre, that fixture. So.
Okay, so starting from loose head up. So Tim Perry, Nathan Harris, Jeffrey Tumaga Allen, Patrick Tuipulotu and Dominic Bird in the second row.
Nice.
Liam Squire, Ardy Surveyor, and Luke Whitelock make up the back row. So Luke Whitelock, I think he's the younger brother of Sam Whitelock.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Tawera Kerbalo, who's I can't remember which side he's signed for, but he's on his way out to a French side soon.
Wait. Oh damn, he is. Oh, who is that? We need to find that out.
So where was it? On his way to a French side, eh?
Yes, he has signed for La Rochelle.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. And then you got Lima Sopawanga at 10, Tamani Valu on the left wing at 11, Laumape at 12, the minibus, Jack Goodhue, who I'm really excited by, playing at outside centre, really good young talent. Matt Duffy on the right wing, he's the guy who caused Liam Williams absolute mayhem in the Blues versus Lion match and ended up giving Liam Williams those yellow cards.
Didn't he score a fantastic try?
I think he did. I can't recall it. He might have done. But I know Rico Ione, he scored the really, really good try that caught Jack Noel out in the Blues.
Oh, he destroyed he destroyed it. He destroyed Lions in that game, Rico.
Yeah, he did. And David Tavidi at fullback. As for the bench, the only sort of I'll just go through some of note. So Asafo Umua, God, I can't pronounce that name. That hooker sensation. He's on the bench, so we might get to see a bit of him in international rugby that isn't just age grade. I'm expecting he's going to come on the scene really soon. I wouldn't be surprised if by next season he's the bench hooker behind Dane Coles because he offers you something a little bit more similar to Cody Tate.
Just on that, actually, Dane Coles obviously, I don't know if anyone's seen, but I read today he's done his ACL, I think.
Has he?
So I think it would be interesting. I'll double check that now, but I'm fairly certain. I've probably got it wrong.
But if it's Twitter, trust it.
But it's on BBC News, so He could miss. It's reported he could miss up to 6 months. But that would be interesting. If he has a really good game off the bench, would there be an argument to not swap light for light, but to have him potentially on the bench for next weekend?
He could be.
I don't think they will, because I think Cody Taylor would probably start, and then Nathan Harris would be the backup. But in an ideal world, I guess if he proves himself.
Cody Taylor actually, him getting into the squad, into the starting 11 for the Lions tests, was actually probably a blessing in disguise for their World Cup chances, because by that point, Coles, due to his sheer brilliance, had actually just become as integral to that team. It was almost beginning to get to Sonny Bill Williams sort of peak time. It was almost that reliance they were having on him there. So getting Cody will be a big help for them, especially with Harris thinking to 2019. Also, just about, did anybody else watch the Francis in the game?
Yeah, I did.
No.
I did, yeah.
That annoying coverage option. By the way, I have got a tip which I think everybody here will love. But if you've got, if you're listening and you've got Sky, Channel 424 will either have live or recording autumn internationals that are on Premier Sports, which is a nightmare because there's approximately no decent streams of Premier Sports to be found anywhere in the world. But unfortunately, they do have the French games. So if you go to Sky 44, usually I think just after they've finished, there'll be English commentary on them for anybody else who's interested. I think it's also 95 on Freeview.
Yes, guys, tweet William saying thanks for that, because I've got friends who were let's just say a little frustrated at that. Which I found pretty entertaining. So looking forward again to the fixtures we got coming up next Saturday.
Are we going to
actually,
predictions again, or?
Yes, I think we should. I think as we're again, as Cameron said, pressed for time. Should we just? I'm just going to name them all off, and then you guys can crack on with. We just say the teams, and I guess we can review the most crucial ones when we've done our predictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So let me just open up my Ultimate Rugby app. Not a sponsor.
There we go. We got. We're obviously being paid, to advertise these companies. Not.
They want to.
They want to. Yes.
So let's start with on the Tuesday, France 15 versus New Zealand. So the second string sides. What do you guys think?
Well, I haven't even seen the French team because I tried searching the squad and then I think my app crashed or whatever. So give me a millisecond. I'm gonna look at the teams. William and Charlie can answer.
I'm gonna.
Can I make a prediction? Oh no, sorry. No, I'll let the other guy go.
I'm not even going to look at the French team. I'm just going to say New Zealand.
Yep, fair play.
I would also say New Zealand just for the fact that Sepulwanga and Carvalho are test level anyway. They will relish this. They will run all over this shop. So I can see them winning by about the same margin that the actual, let's say the senior All Blacks did, although they're applying the same title. I think also the fact they're playing as the All Blacks is going to have everybody very sharp, which I'll need to be because they're going to pack Lyon out. It's going to be 65,000 people there, I think, in the Stade Geelong, which I use for football. So, yeah, it should be lively.
Yeah, I'll go New Zealand. I thought we were doing it by a certain amount of points, which is why I wanted to do a bit more research. But if it's just team, then that New Zealand team is good enough to beat France.
Yeah, definitely. I think so as well. So that's everyone from New Zealand. So quick on to the next match. You got Italy-Argentina. What do we all think?
Oh, gosh.
This is an interesting one, isn't it?
It really is.
I'm going to start off by saying I'm going to go for Italy. I think I was proved wrong last week. I'm hoping they're gonna win it again, but I don't think Argentina have been that good, and I think Italy will come up with something.
That's interesting. So Charlie's going Italy. I'm actually not going to back my Italian boys 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to go Argentina. I think they're going to just have enough to outmuscle the Italians and maybe get a bit of attacking flair and I think there's going to be a few bruised egos after the England game, so I think Argentina are going to come back with a little bit of a vengeance.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I think no matter what, but I think Argentina narrowly. I think they have a bit more quality that they possess, which I don't think Italy do. And I think that'll be the difference.
I find this game very tough to call. I'm going to go with Argentina, but only just. I think it will be a grind, and I think in the crucial moments they'll just have enough pace to escape the Italians. But fair play to Conor O'Shea, he's done a brilliant job. Fair play to Italian rugby as a whole. Zebra and Treviso have played very well. Treviso probably will feel actually aggrieved they're not still in the running for some sort of Champions Cup quarter-final spot, given how well they defended or attacked against Bath, and then the tight nature of their game against Toulon, which they lost very late. It's clear that there's a bit of rejuvenation in Italian rugby at the moment. I think it's very important that they do compete again, and they keep going for the autumn, so they've got something to carry through to the Six Nations. But Argentina defended well, mostly against England, even though the threat was benign. Ian McKinley, who deserves a huge amount of credit because he lost sight in one eye. Now he's got a cap on international level. Played well last week, but will need to. He'll need to be creative. He and Carlo Cannon will need to be very creative in sort of teasing the Pumas to open a gap, and that's where they can stay strong. So Argentina by something like 3.
Okay. So that's just so next week. I think Charlie, if Italy win, I will hand over my rights to be called Captain at Rugby Face. You can have that next week.
Cheers.
There we go.
Okay, so next one we've got Wales, Georgia. What do we all think? I'm going. Do I want to go Georgia? No, I don't. I'm going Wales.
I'm going Wales.
Okay.
Wales.
William. Yeah.
Wait.
Wales. Yeah, hopefully this playmaking strategy we see it settle in a little bit better. Maybe Owen Williams can link up with Dan Bigger a bit and really get Stephen Evans over for a try. I
think Priestland might play 10 though.
Evans looked as if he'd been playing about 50 tests. I mean, you sort of wonder how he hadn't gone into the team earlier. I think he's got a long future international level if he can stay fit.
Mm. Yeah, hopefully. I thought it's interesting that there was a lot of talk on Twitter from what I could see about his stats for defenders beaten, but I actually didn't. I thought it was impressive, but I didn't think he was making as much of an impact as people were saying he was. I thought he was great, but I'm not convinced he actually managed to really cause huge threats. He seems to beat the first defender, then he was taken down pretty quickly afterwards. I don't know whether he was just marked out the game, maybe, but I definitely think there's a lot more to come next week from him.
Wait. Is this Stephen Evans now, or is this Owen Williams?
Oh, I'm talking about Stephen Evans.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think he had a solid game. I thought he played quite well. He obviously got a try, but I don't think he set the world alight. But I thought he had a good game. For one of his first big starts, against a team like Australia and the way they're playing at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely gonna. He's got a bright future ahead of him, isn't he? Anyway.
Oh, for definite. But saying that, obviously George North will come back and he'll want his shirt back.
He will.
So they've got a bit of competition going on at the moment. It's good. Wales need that. So
it is good because I think they've almost kind of not had the option of playing Williams at fullback and having 2 attacking wings because they've not had the other wingers. It's always been halfpenny. Even if they didn't want to go with that type of fullback, they didn't really have the wingers to give Liam Williams a crack. Whereas I think now, if Stephen Evans really steps up, George North comes back in and gets onto some form. If those two are firing, I think Lee Halfpenny might actually lose his place out to Liam Williams. They selected Williams ahead of him for
And
the Lions fullback. So
exactly, and then you have
get wingers available to him.
Exactly, and then you have Owen Williams who can hopefully for them replace the goal kicking, but I'm not sure if anyone can replace Lee Harpenny's goal kicking.
No. But then again, Dan Beggar did a pretty sterling job at the World Cup.
He did, but that's for a competition. Year in, year out. It would be different, but it'd be interesting. And the next, did I say my Wales George prediction? I think I did say Wales.
Yeah, everyone said Wales.
All right,
We'll
cool.
say, okay.
Okay, so on to the next match. So England, Australia. William, talk.
Oh, you've given me a very difficult task here. Just going to sum up. This will be much, much tougher for, I think, both teams, because England will find that Australia will run at them with a lot more force. They will contest at the breakdown, and they will have a lot more movement, especially at 9 and 10. So things will be happening an awful lot quicker. For Australia, they need to get around a bigger team. It's a bigger unit. England are actually quite a big, large, muscular team. And they managed to find, I think, some natural gaps through Wales, and they won't come as easily. I do actually think England are in real danger if standards don't improve quickly, and really quite so. And I think Australia will quietly fancy the chances.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's interesting, obviously, with Prevy and Kiranjani in the centres. If Checker decides to keep selecting those two, I think Eddie Jones will look at that and maybe try and shut down that centre partnership a little bit. Maybe get up in their face, stop them from being able to spread the ball too wide. Maybe cut out the threat of Beale, sort of limit the amount of ball they give him. And I would imagine you might see a limited amount of kicks going towards Corabetti and Beale, and maybe go the other side to Hodge, because he probably is the least dangerous ball in hand of that back three.
Yeah,
absolutely. The key is going to be that ruck in that fringe, and who of Ben Young's, who was unreasonably poor. It was surprising, actually. He didn't have his best game on Saturday, and that's where a lot of our problems originated from. Whoever of Genia and Youngs is able to find their first receivers quickest and most consistently could be the game decider. I think it really could come down to that. Australia do now have a kicking option, a proper one in Reece Hodge, but they won't want to get too bogged down in the set of 3 points. They'll want to run, they'll want to move. And if I can get Rabrara and especially Kiranjani coming out of let's say the same centre pairings this week, there'll be trouble. So it really is very finely balanced.
No, it is. I wouldn't. It's interesting, like you said, if they can get Kiranjani and Karevi really running and picking some holes. I think it'd be interesting to see what midfield combination Jones picks for next week. Now, I would imagine Farrell and Otojo will play in this game. I'd imagine they'll be starting after being rested last week. So I would assume it will be Ford, Farrell, and then who's Jones going to play at 13? Slater really deserves a chance, but
I think Joseph
banker, isn't he?
Well, he said Eddie Jones said I read online that he said that there wasn't that understanding between 10, 12 and 13 this week. And I think next week against Australia, those 10, 12 and 13, they've beaten Australia 4 times in the last 12 months. Well, 24 months really. But, they've beaten Australia 4 times in that time, and that's not by mistake. Jonathan Joseph has always had a really good game against them, and I think Eddie would be particularly silly to change that now. But, if you think about it, there might be an opportunity for Slade at 15, because you've got potentially Mike Brown's absence. I'm not sure what's going on with his concussion there, but could you put Slade at 15 potentially? You've then still got the left-footed kicking option. But there's Daly, Watson and May to fit into the equation as well. But I think he'll go for Jonathan Joseph.
Yeah, I just on touching on Slade, I really can't ever see a time where Slade will play 15 for England. I don't really think he got the pace, and it's been so long since he's played there. I feel like Watson, if Mike Brown, I tried to look for this today. I can't find anything on Mike Brown's injury.
Same. It's really hard.
A couple of years ago, he had quite a while out with some concussion issues. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Watson start.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Watson's the ideal replacement if Brown can't play, and I would maybe start Watson anyway if Brown was fit, if I was the head coach, but I'm not. But yeah, I think a back three of Watson, Rokoduguni, Daly is very, very scary to be against, and quite exciting if you're an England fan. So
the issue I've had is obviously last week, the first pod that never was. You asked me if there was a World Cup tomorrow, who would I start at fullback? I said Anthony Watson. Actually, I was a little bit disappointed in Watson's passing from fullback when he came to attack. That worried me a little bit. I almost thought maybe is this another chance for Alex Goody, because I feel like when you're counter-attacking, we've got good wingers, we've got good attacking backs. If you've got JJ, Daly and Rocco on, in the outside channels, you want a fullback that can get that pass out. Now, Brown always holds on to it too much.
He does.
But if Watson can't deliver those final passes, I feel like we're going to struggle again to make the most of our attack.
I think I said last week, I think Goods had his chances internationally and hasn't been necessarily at the required standard every time. I personally think the best option England have to go into that fullback position is Elliot Daly. I think he's strong defensively. He's got a great boot on him, and I think if you look at how Eddie Jones likes his fullbacks to play, it's that the kicking option or the running hard back, and I think Elliot Daly really offers that. And he's played club rugby there probably much more than he's played on the wing. So I think if you had him a back three next week of Rocco, Daly and Watson, whatever one that goes to Eddie Jones wants them to have the ability to interchange. But that back three is going to cause problems. And I think Elliot Daly's obviously plays 13 a lot, so his distribution skill is going to be better. So that's one other thing to think about when you put him at 15.
It's the distribution. That's kind of what I was touching on. So I think you're probably right. I think Daly would be a better distributor. But then there's Lazowski. He tore it up when he played for Saracens at 15. He's an option, and maybe Eddie would like to reward him for impressing this week.
He did. I saw Lazowski play against Scarlets in the Champions Cup last year at 15, and he was actually awesome. And as we saw his running threat against Argentina, he really does possess that running threat. He's got serious pace and agility, and he's very dangerous on the counter. And obviously, because he's a 10 by trade, you have the kicking as well. So I mean, there is options for England. It'd be interesting to see which one Eddie will go with. I think he will go Watson at 15. If Brown isn't fit, but I'm happy with that anyway. Let's give Watson a go and see what happens. I agree. I don't think his distribution looked cutting edge against Argentina, but you got to remember he hasn't played it that many times for England, has he at all, or at international standards. So I think I think Charlie makes a great point with Daly at 15. I think that would be very interesting. I find it quite funny the way he casually got thrown onto the wing, without a thought, but him at 15 seems ridiculous to some people. I don't think it should be, because he's got all the acquired skills to do it. So
Wasps had an injury crisis, I think it was, before they moved to the Rico, and they played Daly at 15 every week, and he was very, very good there. He's played there in Premiership. I'm not sure he's played there in Europe, but to be honest, what's the difference between a winger and a fullback? Not too much. If you're going to play
there isn't
one international winger out of position, why not make it Daly?
Exactly, Charlie. And the way every team does. Go on. The way I was saying is the way every club or any professional team does things today is they have the back three working as a pendulum anyway. So the winger actually will. I mean, we even do this with my club, and I tell you what, we're way down the English leagues. The fullback will then go into the wing position if the wing is out of position, and then the winger will come across and go into fullback, and they call it like a pendulum. Like everyone does that today. So like the fullback and wing thing is, the positions are basically interchangeable anyway. So you know you're going to need the distribution to pass to each other. You're going to need the kicking skills, and you're going to need the taking high ball skills. So again, like if Daly can do a wing, he can do. And as you said, he's played a ton of club rugby at 15 for Wasps. I remember around four seasons ago, he was playing 15 all the time basically. So I'm actually going to. I know we've gone off on a rant again, but the way England are playing at the moment, very sluggish. I think lethargic. Itoje Farrell make a huge difference because those two guys will come back in. But I'm with William on this. If I'm Australian, or an Australian fan or a player, I'm very quietly confident on this game. They're coming in off a great win against Wales, an awesome win against the All Blacks. I think I'm right there, aren't I? Those are the last two games they've played.
Yeah. Yes, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they beat Japan as well, but.
Oh, that's easy. Come on, everyone could do that. Apart from South Africa.
Barbarians and Japan they beat, but they're both wings, so they're wins even so. We'll just
okay. There we go.
Over that.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
So are we doing some predictions then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get back to actually this prediction. So William, tell me, England or Australia?
Oh, damn! You forget that I still have a prediction to make. I will. Oh, you know what? I'll go with Australia.
Ooh.
They'll do it. If they do it, they'll do it by a score. So it'll be Australia by 3 points. The total prediction.
I'm going to put by 3 just for this game. I won't do it for this, just for this game by 3. Just because I think this will be interesting. Okay, so Cameron, what do you think?
Oh, damn you, Ali. Or Captain McRugby face. Or whatever. I was going to say the exact same thing. I think England will fight, and I think they're going to try and grind, and then I think the finishers will come off the bench near the end. But I don't think it'll be enough because I think Australia by that point will have enough points. I think Australia by 3, but I don't want to say 3 because you've said it already.
No, you can. If that's what you think, you can say that.
Yeah, I can say Australia by 3 because I can see them just edging England out. I think they're playing really, really well.
Fair call. And Charlie, so what do you think?
I can't bring myself to say Australia are going to win. But I don't know. I'll go England by 3.
Ooh, I'm saying I can't not back England. I'm going to say England by 6 points. 6,
very ballsy.
Yeah, sad to think a 6 point difference is a ballsy call, but this is going to be pretty close. Right, let's rattle through the last ones. So Japan, Tonga, William, who do you think?
I will go for Japan, just because they should be sharp, having faced some pretty decent opposition this year. Bloody all hope to see them put up a good showing. They would be disappointed with the way they folded in the second half against Australia.
Yes, well, hopefully they can crack on and maybe try and discover some sort of resemblance to their 2015 World Cup form. Okay, Charlie, what do you think? Japan or Tonga?
I'm a Tigers fan, and so many Tigers playing for Tonga, so I'm going to back our boys and I'll go Tonga.
Japan, Tonga.
Like it.
Cameron, what do you think?
Japan, I think they've got a very good set piece going on there, and a solid team structure, which I think Pacific Island teams tend to forget about. So,
I agree with you. I'm going to go with Japan as well. That really is a battle of the sizes there.
It really is. That would be a good game to watch. It's just there's so much other good rugby on as well. It's going to be hard.
There's so much.
Well, it's all on at the same time. I've got the kickoff times here. Italy, Argentina's at 2. Wales, Georgia's at 2:30. England, Australia's at 3.
Oh.
And then Scotland, New Zealand's on at the same time as Ireland, Fiji.
I can't. I can't. I gotta be honest. I can't watch another France South Africa game. I have to watch 3 of them in the summer. Oh gosh, no. Oh.
What's the next one?
So Scotland, New Zealand. William, tell me what you think.
This will be the best game of next week, no doubt. Make sure you watch it, clear your everything. I would have said New Zealand by about 20. Scotland will run at them, which is the right approach to take, because the best preparation, best in long term. I don't know what they're going to do really about their defence, however, and it should improve from Samoa. I think there's scrutiny about it, and that will naturally make the players and coaching staff self-aware. But even then, that was well below subpar for them, given that they had nearly a 20-point lead at one stage. They defend like that again, New Zealand will go for 50. I can see something ridiculous. I can see something ridiculous like 50-30 here. I genuinely can.
I agree. I think it's going to be fair. I think it's going to be reasonably close score within. I think for a high-scoring game, I think it'll be within 10, 15 points. But I can easily see. I would not be surprised to see both teams go 40 plus points wise. I really wouldn't.
No, definitely not. Especially if at some point the game does get won, or Hansen wants to ring and roll the changes, which is entirely possible.
He could well do. We'll just see what kind of bench he goes for when he's had his mostly experimental side all played on the Tuesday. Right, so Charlie, talk to me. New Zealand, Scotland, who do you think?
New Zealand.
New Zealand, okay. And Cameron, New Zealand or Scotland?
It has to be the All Blacks, isn't it? I mean, just the way their accuracy under pressure, and the way they deliver skills under pressure and execute stuff. It's just got to, it has to be them. I think Scotland will play some great stuff though. I think as William said, it'll be a great game to watch. So if you're a rugby fan, just make sure you watch that game. Kickoff's 5:15, I think. So I definitely go and watch that. It'd be a great game. But I think New Zealand by 20 at least.
Yeah, it's fair call. Okay, so moving on to Ireland, Fiji. Cameron, so if you want to carry on, tell us what you think.
I just think this is. I think if Fiji had to pick a team that they don't want to play, I think Ireland is that team. Great team structure, accurate set plays, good solid set piece, and very aggressive up front as well. And they were like, Ireland will enjoy the physical encounter of Fiji. And I can just see Ireland by 40, 50 points.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. This could be a bit of a drubbing for Fiji.
Yeah, the lack of set piece accuracy and structure. That is just, you just don't do that against Ireland. It's Ireland by 50, I think.
Ooh, okay, I'm putting down 50 for you.
Or 40 to 50 then. Let's calm down. 40 to 50 points they're going to win by, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely Ireland. I don't really want to say a score, but definitely Ireland.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay,
go by 40.
By 40?
Oh.
Okay. And William, just quickly, Ireland, how many points?
I'd say roughly about 35. Depends on who they change around.
Oh, damn it! Yeah, there's a great point there. They will rest players.
That's interesting. I'm gonna say Ireland by 30, just because I feel like Fiji might just. I don't know. Actually, no, ignore that. I thought they might have a fight back, but that's not going to happen. Ireland by 40. I'm with you, Charlie, on that one. Okay, so the final game of the weekend. Charlie, do you want to take the lead on this one? France, South Africa, what do you think?
So, I'll be honest, I haven't probably watched as much of these two teams as I should have done. But I've watched a lot of the European stuff and watched some of the Pro 14 with the South African sides in, some of the Super Rugby. I think it comes back to the South Africa debate, and it really frustrates me. The Lions did so well in the Super Rugby, and they just can't transfer that. But equally, France, in Europe, they sometimes are good, but they just don't back it up. So really, in my honest opinion, this could go either way. I'd like to think that South Africa are going to have a bit of a fight back after last week. But again, France lost as well, so who knows?
It's interesting. I don't know what you guys think, but I feel like this could be quite poor performances from both sides. France always really step it up against New Zealand, but I feel like they're going to have a bit of a hangover after that game. Once they've reached those emotional heights, I feel like usually after they have those big performances, they end up quite subpar the next week. So I reckon it will be France, but I don't think it's going to be a particularly attractive game to watch.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I think it's going to be a very boring game. I think there'll be very few tries in it. I'd like to see South Africa win it, so I'll go with them. But yeah, very few tries. It'll be a kicking battle. and hopefully Alistair Coatsy goes for the right selection.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I don't have huge faith in Coetzee, I'll be honest. Okay, so Cameron, what do you reckon, France or South Africa?
I mean, it's quite obvious what we're going to get, isn't it? It's going to be a very physical, upfront battle. They're going to both pick two ginormous packs, so it'll probably kill each other. Have to be stretched off at half time, and then there'll be a bit of a kicking battle. It's just going to be quite a dull affair if you don't. I enjoy that sort of thing. I really enjoy an arm wrestle, so I probably will watch that and enjoy it like some weirdo because everyone else is like, this is so boring, and I'm there like, oh, look at them, they're gaining like 1 meter every carry. I love it. What am I going to go for? I think France's home crowd will probably just carry them over. And I don't see. It's going to be a very close affair. I think I'm going to back France just because they're home. I don't think there's much separating these sides. I think they're both playing pretty poor at the moment. So I'll say France by 2.
Yeah, I'm with you there as well for France. So William, who do you think?
I will say I'll actually go for France here just. And I'll say actually I think it's going to be a more open game than people would suggest. South Africa will enjoy this a lot more than they did Ireland. Against Ireland, they never got a chance to get going. It was suffocating right down. It was suffocating in the attack. It was suffocating in the kicking game. The weather also went against them. It might still next week. But this France side is not a France side necessarily built to smother. They're running the ball and they're sticking with that under Guy Noves, and rightly so he should, given he has Anthony Bellew and at fly half, and of course Baptiste Saran and scrum half, along with Teddy Thomas, who were rejuvenated last week. There really isn't much of a reason I think France has suddenly changed their ways. So South Africa should expect to get a bit more space, and we should see more from the likes of Yanties, definitely more from the likes of Creel and Dialende, at least getting a chance to build up a head of steam. So I think it should be a reasonable game to watch. In terms of who's going to win, South Africa have produced quite strong backlash performances. They went down by a point after New Zealand nailed them, which is one performance I'm thinking of, and they beat France 3-0 in the summer. I can't see a lot of points between the two. I will just go with France. I think if they can get on the front foot, and get the crowd behind them, I think that'll be difficult to take back. But I think they've got to get up ahead and out in front first. I think if South Africa get up in front first, I think the confidence will come back and they'll feel very sore after last week, and they'll want to prove a point.
Okay, so is that France or South Africa? Who do you think?
Oh God, that's perfect summing up. I'll go for France, Jeff.
Yeah, that's fair. So overall, Charlie's gone against the head. That's South Africa, Italy, and Tonga. You predicted a week ago.
Could end horribly. I don't know about the Tonga one. I'm tempted to change it. I don't know if I can, but
it's written down in pen. I didn't use pencil. It's too late. It's in.
Oh. I'm going to back them and just hope that they deliver.
If you get it, you Captain Rugby face.
Oh, if I get those 3, I'll be delighted.
Yeah, but you should put an accumulator on.
I think we should have a competition each week and keep score.
Yeah, well, I'm going to. I will next week. I will see who won the most from last week's scores and this upcoming week, and I'll keep track, and we'll see who by the end of the internationals knows. Sorry, stuff.
Oh, damn it! Editing.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I don't mind. It's fine. Because I've never sworn in my life before ever. Oh wait.
Well, that's the first time I've used that word. It's quite weird.
Oh, God, she would just start swearing loads, get out the system, and then I'll just take this entire and be like normal conversation, and just silence for a second, and be like, no. It's like it's like they swore there, and then edited it out. It's like
I loved your editing last week. To be honest, I thought that was almost seamless.
Shocking. It was. I did it. I thought it was better than it actually came out. The way I did it just sort of bounced off. Then I listened to it over, and I was like, there was a gap, and I was like, what? What? There was no gap.
Good. I didn't notice it actually. It wasn't until after I listened back to see what it was like. It wasn't until afterwards I realised that you'd edited. I thought it was a very good job.
Oh,
I
cheers.
went straight for that bit. I just scrolled straight through looking for that time.
Oh God. Oh. Okay. Yeah, that one. Yeah. It's funny because Captain Rugby whatever face has been dropping that bomb. He's been dropping that line like numerous times now, and every time he says it, I'm just thinking of the time I messed it up. So.
Have I said it before?
I don't even know what's going on now. Yeah. You have. You said it twice today. I'm not even gonna try and say it. And I'll listen. If you're listening to this, you haven't listened to the first episode. Listen to the first episode, and you'll still not have a clue what I'm on about. So that doesn't make any sense. Listen to it anyway.
I don't know what you're looking for, but you might like the podcast, you might not. But listen.
Yeah, we know, but no one else does. So I shouldn't even tell you to go. Well, go back and listen to it anyway, because what's the point listening to the sequel if you haven't watched number one? And anyway,
have we got some uni results?
We have got uni results. Charlie's dying for them. He's dying for them. Don't worry, Charlie. We got them here. Don't worry, we got them.
Gotta remember our roots.
Talking about Durham Uni earlier with Will Greenwood, they went down at home to Loughborough, 26-10, and apparently Loughborough is the best university in the UK for sport. So they're proving that. Leeds back
They lost last week, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Loughborough did lose last week. I think it was and there wasn't Hartbury. They lost to someone, maybe Northumbria or something. But no, for sport, this doesn't mean rugby. I mean, Hartbury won Bucks.
Rugby, but
yeah. Anyway, so that's
sport, but yeah.
That's the first game. Leeds back it, lost at home to Cardiff Met, 24-18. Cardiff Met are playing really well this year. I've got quite a lot of friends there, and they're doing really, really well this year. They got a good team. Bath got hammered at home to Exeter, 47-7. Shout out to my mate Yordi. He's hooker for Bath, so ha. They got absolutely slaughtered.
The next production line's going well, isn't it? It looks like Baxter's going to have a few people to pick out.
Well, I know for a fact they have all the Ian Whitton and a few other players like Callum Dickey. They all was it Dave Ewers? They all actually coach the university team as well.
Doesn't Sam Simmons play there? Does he still play, or he did play, didn't he?
Well, he did play. Then I know he did play, but he's on the bench
playing in slightly bigger games now, isn't he?
Slightly bigger games in front of 82,000 people in Twickenham. Exeter they actually came second last year in Bucks Rugby, and so they've hammered Bath away. Nottingham Trent got destroyed at home to Hartbury College, 52-12. Who are the champions? And they're coming. That's a win for them this week. And I know they lost last week. So that's a good win for them. And Nottingham Trent is still sitting bottom of the league, which is not good. And the table is looking like this currently. We've got Northumbria atop, which still upsets me because I could have gone uni there. But I thought, no, it's fine. I'll go for uni for my course, not for rugby. And in the northeast of England, and now Northumbria at top and the best side in the UK currently. So sad face there. Cardiff Met second. You got Exeter third. Leeds back at fourth. Loughborough fifth. Durham sixth. Hartbury seventh currently. But they do have a game in hand and a couple of games in hand on Cardiff Met to catch up. But they're only on 7 points, so they need to start winning soon. Bath are 8th, and then Nottingham Trent are 9th. So that's your Uni Rugby roundup. Basically, guys, go over to unirugby.co.uk. They're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, and they've got their own YouTube channel. And I know we've probably got quite a lot of university students who listen to this podcast who, if they are listening to it, then check out the websites because there's match reports done for university rugby games on there. And stories of life after uni and loads of sort of stuff which you could probably find relatable. So I'm not just saying it because I have to. I'm saying it because it's actually quite good as well. So check out the Facebook page, check out the YouTube, check out Twitter, all that sort of stuff. I think that's it for this week, guys. So pleasure as always. I've enjoyed myself. Do you want to say bye individually before we call it a day? And then we can leave it here because again we've done another late night special. Ali the finisher is coming.
I'm here to come off the bench.
I don't know about you guys, but
Jamie George of podcasters.
He did. He came in with a hat trick. He came in right at the right time because we were doing well. Me, William, and Charlie were doing well, and then Ali just came straight in with a hard line, and it's just we're at the 2 hour mark now, nearly. It's quite unbelievable. Every time I go to itch my nose, I keep punching my mic. It's really annoying. Anyway. Awesome. So that's episode 2 for you guys. Do you guys want to say bye individually? So I can call your names out like I don't know.
So from Captain Rugby Face, signing out.
Oh, actually, say your social medias, each of you, if you want.
So you can find me at Ali Stokes Rugby on Twitter, and that's pretty much the only place I'm active.
Okay. Drum roll for William or Charlie. I don't know if you want to.
Okay, you can find me on Twitter at KeeJayOV2 and also at Racing Plus Paper, where we will put some rugby goodness into your feed, hopefully.
Awesome. Check that stuff out. Charlie, do you have anywhere, or are you just...
I don't use Twitter, but you can follow me on there. I'd appreciate the followers. It's at Charlie and Swirling, so it's at Charlie Swirling. That's spelled at CharlieSwerling.
Well, awesome. I need to follow you, Charlie. I haven't even followed you yet. That's a...
I don't use Twitter. You're not missing much. It's fun.
Oh, no.
It's mainly me being abused, but, it's fun.
There we go. Bit of schoolboy banter. Anyway, yeah, actually, well, damn, you may as well get mine as well. Follow my Twitter, Cameron Petrie. That's PETRIERU. Yes, for Rugby Union. I'm that cool. Follow me there, and I might follow you back if you talk sense about rugby. Because we do. Anyway, awesome. Enjoy that, guys. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.